we regularly get asked the question, how does bridging finance work here at Harvey Bowes? So in this video, we're going to give you 3 ways that you can utilise bridging finance to make your property purchases and refinances work. So on this video, we're going to be looking at 3 different ways that you can use bridging finance and ultimately what that is going to mean for you as a property investor. The first way is to use it for purely buying the property, so as a purchase or an acquisition. Most bridging lenders at this point in time, as we're speaking today, will offer you between 65 and 80% loan to value against the purchase price itself. Now this means that if you're buying something to maybe add value to it, if you're buying it at under market value, or if you're trying to move quickly, this can be a really great way of acquiring that property by using bridging finance. Now remember as well that with bridging, you generally have an acceptance fee or an application fee at the very beginning of about 2% with most lenders. They will also deduct the interest up front. So if you have a 12-month loan, that means that the bridging lender will deduct 12 months worth of interest before you get your money sent to the solicitor. Now the other way of doing this is by using what they call serviced interest. So rather than having any deductions of those payments, you would pay this every month, very similar to a standard mortgage. The key difference though between serviced and retained interest is that with serviced you're going to be paying that as each month goes on. That does give you more money up front. With retained interest or deducted interest is that where they take this up front at the beginning of the loan, you then have no payments to make throughout that period. So if you've got a 12-month bridging loan, they've deducted 12 months worth of interest up front, meaning that you've got no payments to make throughout that 12-month period. The second way that you can use bridging and how that works is by borrowing for the purchase, but also for the works. Now, lots of lenders will offer you this facility. Generally speaking, you can get up to 70% of the purchase price and 100% of the works paid back to you in arrears. So that means if you're looking to add major value to a property by doing a refurb, a conversion, or you're looking to change the use, lots of lenders will give you up to all of the money for those works. Now they will work this out on a scale against the GDV, or the gross development value, the end value. Most lenders will allow you on a residential conversion or residential refurbishment to go up to 70% against the GDV. So they would start at this figure, work their way backwards and ensure that you've got enough money towards the purchase and then all of those works. In order to get access to that money, all you have to do is provide the bridging lender with copies of either invoices or receipts, maybe even some photos. They will then send out their surveyor to make sure that they're happy with the works. They will then reimburse that fund back to you in as relatively quick a time as is physically possible at that point. This is a great way of being able to utilise the bank's money and leverage to the appropriate amount in order to add real value to your property and to look at that all-important value at the end. The third way that you can use bridging finance and how that will work is by utilising something called a cross-charge. Now a cross-charge is where you utilise either a property that you currently own or one that belongs to someone else in order to gain extra money for that purchase. Now you regularly hear of people on social media talking about 100% financing. Well, this is how that works. If you're looking to buy a property at say £200,000 and your bridging loan can only give you 100, you could look to get say 100,000 against another property that you hold in the background. Now just a little bit of the technicalities on this one. If the property in the background already has a mortgage assigned to it, then most lenders will only allow you to borrow up to 55 or 65% of the overall value, meaning that what's attainable can potentially be quite small. However, if you've got an unencumbered property in the background with no mortgage or finance connected to it, then you could get the rest of that money via that purchase. Now bearing in mind as well, when you're working with something like this, you need to make sure that the numbers stack, and this is where talking to your broker can give you a great insight into what's possible and also will help you make sense of how those numbers work. But this is an amazing way of being able to get up to 100% of the funds that you need in order to complete that transaction. So there you have it, 3 ways to use bridging finance today, how you can make that work and what that will ultimately mean for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like the video if you found it useful, and we'll look forward to talking to you again very soon with more subjects on bridging and others as you work to gain your property portfolio and make a good positive change to your outlook for the coming year. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care.